All right, we should be live now. Let me just double check real quick before we start. Yeah, we live right now. All right, gentlemen. So, good afternoon, good morning, whatever time y'all listen to this. Thank you all for tuning in to the show once again. I am here, Tavares Wilson, founder, owner of Last Word Productions on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, multiple platforms. Wherever you can find me, trust me, it's the same at Last Word Productions. My two co-hosts, y'all go ahead and introduce yourselves as always. All right, gentlemen. So as we all know, the NBA playoffs is still amongst us, and we actually do have our first award winner of the Magic Johnson Award in Stephen Curry after their victory over the the Dallas Mavericks in 5 games. Stephen Curry has now been officially named the very first player to ever win the Western Conference Award. So, Alex, we're gonna start with you, my man. Give us your thoughts on the series, everything that's transpired, and the chances of them winning it all. Right. Right. And I agree with you both. I think by default, I think he won the award. And the Warriors as a whole were just the better team. There was no denying that. It was clear as day. Luka, on the other hand, he did not go out there and play well at all in the last 2 games, in my personal opinion. I thought he basically rushed a lot of shots. He basically just was taking anything he could to go out guns blazing, essentially. And I don't have a problem with a guy going down fighting, but at the end of the day, you still got to do and take smart opportunities and shots in the game to give yourself the best chance to win. And I don't feel as if Luka did the last 2, 3 games into the series. Maybe he felt as if the series was over before he began. I'm not sure what exactly he thought, but it just seemed to me that he didn't really give his team a fighting chance as the best player on the team. Cause I thought Jalen Brunson was pretty good this series. I thought he was a bit inconsistent, but for the most part, I thought he was a solid player for them. And I thought Spencer Dinwiddie actually picked it up the last couple of games as well in terms of that role player just coming in and giving them points. But yes, it was inevitable Steph Curry was going to win it, despite the fact that he played again, like I said, the last episode, another lackluster performance in a closeout game. But like you all said, it was going to happen anyway. And as far as the Eastern Conference go, we got a game 7 tonight between the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat. So, Stiz, we're going to start with you, my man. What are your predictions for not only just who wins the game, but what are your thoughts on this series and what have you learned about both teams? Yeah, yeah, yes, tonight. All right. Well, I get why both of you gentlemen feel the way you feel, but let me just chime in a little bit on my thoughts, man. First and foremost, I think Boston, from a talent perspective, is definitely the better team. They just have more athletic, explosive, younger guys that can create their own shots, and that's something you can't coach. You either train for that or you wake out of bed with it. There's no denying that. But at the end of the day, the reason being why a team like Miami can go compete against any team on any given night is because you cannot put forth any more effort than that team than any other league in this league. I mean, any other team in this league, excuse me. They play with a chip on their shoulder, and they all play with as if they have something to prove. Jimmy Butler has told you that on multiple times, that he feels as if he is the guy that is going to make the other guy work, and he doesn't fear anyone regardless of who steps in the arena any given night. I feel the same way about PJ Tucker. I feel the same way about Bam Adebayo. Despite the fact that I feel as if Bam Adebayo has underplayed with the talent he is, I think he's a top 5 talent in the league when it comes to centers. Do I believe he is that? I don't believe so because his production doesn't reflect that. But at the same time, he is a guy who I think can work his way in that top 5, top 3 center argument because he's that good of a player in terms of his talent perspective. Right, I can see him being fourth, but then you turn around, you see guys like Brandon Clark playing at a level I think he could play at. Because Brandon Clark outplayed Karl Anthony Towns in that series against the Grizzlies and the Timberwolves, and as well as someone like DeAndre Ayton, who I believe from just a more polarizing rim protected threat, he's better at that than Bam is, despite the fact he's not necessarily a better defender. And I think he could give you the same production that Bam gives you as an offensive player. So those two are interchangeable for me. But my issue with Bam, and it's been this series, is that he needs to play as if he's that guy, and he's simply not doing that. And that to me is going to be the biggest factor whether or not they win tonight. If Bam Adebayo goes out and only finishes the game with 15 points, they're going to lose by 15 or 20. If he goes out there, he plays as if he's the best big on the floor, which again I believe he is. The Miami Heat could win a close game, but if he doesn't play with that edge to him, I don't see him winning this game tonight. And it hurts me to say that as a Miami sports supporter, but I got to be honest and call a spade when I see it. He simply is not being the guy that I know he can be. But at the end of the day, Boston is the more talented team. I'm not denying that. I just think Eric Spoelstra is the better coach in this series, and I think tonight is a chance for him to show that as well as Bam Adebayo to prove what he is. I think they about on par, but I think Giannis is much more talented than anyone they have though. So right, right, right. But now let me say this before we move on, because I know both of y'all are higher on Jason Tatum than I am, particularly. Let me just say this: if the Celtics lose tonight, despite all of the injuries, despite the fact that we just established they're the better team, Jason Tatum is going to have a lot of explaining to do as an individual player, because this is a guy in this series has had some forgettable performances. And I know he played really well the last game, but he only took 12 shots. And I'm sorry, you are on right now. You have to take over this game. We at home. We going up against a team that is coming in wobbly. Tyler Heroes misses, I believe, third straight game. Kyle Lowry out there playing on one leg, basically. He has to be like, this is my time to show that I am who they say I am. And he simply did not do that. And listen, I love the Miami basketball. I love Miami sports. But I'm a fan of the game before anything else. And it disappoints me when I see people and players like Jason Tatum with that talent not perform to the standard that has been set for them or what they have come to show in the past. So for him to let that game go, I just felt as if it was kind of, I just thought it was kind of beneath him as a player.
Deserve that focal point on him. But I think it's the pressure too that just what you said, like, okay, you in another game 7, you in the conference finals for the what? This is their third conference finals together, and you're supposed to be the leader of the team. And we're used to seeing the Jordan, the Kobe, the LeBron like performances where even if you lose, you had a phenomenal game. You know what I'm saying, type deal. So I think this is the situation for
entire series. I think every time. I mean, every time they've won, he's had over 35. So I mean, he is willing the Miami Heat to this game 7. And I mean, what did he have last game? 41, I think.
47.
And they won.
47.
Yeah, 47.
47. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, they're gonna have to have another crazy game from Jimmy Butler just to make it to the finals. So it'll be interesting.
All right, that's good, man. I mean, just for me personally, and so if y'all had to give a prediction, who y'all believe deserves the Eastern Conference MVP award most? Not based on winner, who y'all believe winning, but if you had to give the award to one specific player, who would it be?
Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler. But we know what they're gonna do. If the Heat win, it's Butler. If the Celtics win, it's Tatum. But yeah, it's no question Jimmy Butler for sure.
Right.
Oh, I don't know if it's Tatum if Boston wins. I think if Jaylen Brown plays really good in this game 7, I bet they give it to him.
What is really good? His averages?
No, more than 25. If he has 25 and Tatum has 20 and they still win, he gets it.
Potentially, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't see them winning if Jaylen Brown is their leading scorer.
I know I'm talking myself into taking Miami tonight just because I think Jimmy Butler might go crazy again.
Hey, Jimmy is going to be Jimmy, no question.
I
believe he's 40-point triple-double tonight, probably.
If that happens, then Miami wins.
Right.
If he gets a 40-point triple-double, Miami's winning easily.
We'll see. I've seen him do it before. I've seen him give those heroic performances and have close games. So like I don't know.
Hey, is Bam under contract?
He signed an extension, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, I was gonna say because that's an interesting conversation that they'd have to have whether or not you give him the max.
Yeah, I think for the most part, man, as far as max contracts goes, everyone's getting some max contracts in the NBA now. So I'm not too much concerned about that. So even if Bam signed another extension worth 180, 200 million dollars, it wouldn't bother me that much because at the end of the day, he has the talent, man. I see him on the court. He is by far and large one of the better defenders in the league. I think he's the best defensive center in the league. And I also believe that from a talent perspective, he can handle the ball as well as any center in the league, any big on top of that. And he just simply does not play as if he's the talent he is. And I think that's comes from not just coaching and not creating up plays, but a lack of just wherewithal and who you are and the confidence. I'm not saying he's not confident in what he can do or who he is, but he needs to play with more confidence on the offensive side of the ball. Just like he plays with all the confidence in the world on the defensive side to stop anyone in front of him.
I think we also forget, I mean, he is only 24.
Yeah. It's the whole outside of PJ Tucker and Jimmy Butler, the team is young. I mean, Kyle Lowry as well.
And somehow Udonis Haslem is still a player on that team, which is honestly the most remarkable thing ever.
And then speaking of Udonis, I'm glad you just said that. It was actually some reports, not reports, but some comments he had for Draymond Green after Draymond basically picked the Celtics to go to the finals and play them. So since you brought it up, Alex, man, start off the conversation. What you thought about Udonis Haslem comments at Draymond's?
I mean, that's fine. That's all that's why he's on the team, I guess, to be the enforcer. I think he played in one game this entire season, which, hey, man, if you can catch $1 million a year to sit on the end of the bench and basically be a coach, shout out to you. But, no, I mean, I think Draymond's just the realest guy out there. Like, that's who Draymond really thinks is going to win. I guarantee you Draymond would double down again tonight and say Boston would win. Like, he's not going to change his tone just because Udonis Haslem said something.
Right.
Like, so wait. So is he a player's coach? Like, is that?
Yeah, I literally think he's like under contract. I think like when he retires, he'll literally just slide down like one chair and put on a suit and be a coach.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, it makes a little more sense now because I wasn't 100% sure like if he was just like solely a player or not. But just what you said, like they're worst case scenario, we have to put Udonis Haslem on the court. Well, that's fine. We haven't found anybody that we're comfortable with, replacing him with or whatever. But the comments, I think, was to kind of throw gas, on the whole series, because it has definitely been a dogfight back and forth. Both teams have gotten embarrassed in certain situations or throughout the series. But I think Draymond is strategically, trying to get a rise out of them. And I think Udonis Haslem was the only player on either team that knew how to handle that situation.
Right.
Oh, I was wrong. My apologies. Udonis Haslem has played in 13 games this season.
Okay. They probably garbage.
I knew he played. I knew he played in more than one because I remember playing in the last, I think, 3 games of the season.
Yeah, it's
average of how many minutes?
8.
8, yeah, 8 or 10. That sounds about right.
He averages 2 points.
And honestly, that's more than I thought he would get. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I mean, I think isn't he like 45? Like he's got to be.
He's about 42.
I mean, he's been in the league since 2003.
Okay, so he came out with the LeBron in him, right?
Yeah, this is very weird. I'm looking at his career. In 2020, he played 4 games. 2021, 1 game, and then 2022, 13 games.
Yeah, that's
about right. But
apparently, in 2020, he started a game also.
I think he started D Wade's last game, if I'm not mistaken. But
yeah, probably.
All right, so
okay, that would make sense for sure.
All right, that's enough Udonis Haslem talk.
But moving on, we're gonna move on into the NFL news and things like that. And we actually said we was gonna give our playoff predictions today. So do y'all guys have those ready?
I'm actually finishing my AFC. I've got 2 games left, and
I got mine.
You got to. All right, Alex. We go ahead and start with you then. Let Stiz finish up.
All right, you want my AFC or my NFC first?
Whichever one. It's on you, man.
All right, we'll start with the AFC. How many? Wait, 7 teams make it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, 17.
I got. You want like the teams and the records I have them for, or what?
Yeah, I got teams and records, so.
Okay, I got the Bills at 15-2. They're the number 1 seed.
Oh my God.
I mean, they're the best team in football. We can argue that if you'd like, but I have the Chiefs at 13-4 as my 2 seed. The Ravens at 13-4 as my 3 seed. The Colts at 13-4 as my 4 seed. The Chargers at 13-4 as my 5 seed. The Raiders at 13-4 is my 6th seed, and my 7th seed is the Browns at 12-5.
Hold on, man. Hold on. Wait. Hold on.
I'm not gonna lie to you, bro.
Hold on.
If you're remotely close to those games being won, we owe you some money or something.
Listen,
bro.
right,
you got every team
let me
winning
explain.
12 plus games.
Let me explain. So I
my
found this
God.
website where you go through every week and pick every game, and then I realized how ridiculous this seems afterwards. But it's honestly not that crazy. Because, like, I look at the bottom half of the division, and they're not that bad. Like, I have the Texans going 1-16. I have the Jaguars 4-13. I have the Jets 4-13. So, I mean, it's not that terrible.
And I get what you're saying, but what you did was you set yourself up for no upset games, and the NFC has got to have god-awful records.
Well, listen, guys, again, I did this and didn't realize it. In the NFC, we have actually they're not really that bad.
All right, let's
Like
do
the
it.
What are the top 3 records you have so far in the NFC?
The Bucks at 15-2, the Eagles at 13-4, the Packers at 12-5.
Okay, all right. So yeah, it's not god awful.
Rams at 11-6, Cowboys at 12-5, Vikings at 10-7, and Cardinals at 10-7.
Okay.
And then the next 4 teams are all 9-8 or 8-9. I really think the AFC is way better than the NFC.
Oh, for sure.
I believe
And
that too.
I realize that it's probably a mistake that I have 5 teams. They're all 13-4 because that's probably not going to happen. But I feel very good about the teams that I have in the playoffs.
I'm just curious though because last time we spoke, you said you don't think the Chiefs make the playoffs, and now they're the 2nd seed.
Listen, I didn't realize how their schedule is not very difficult.
Well, but okay, so their only difficult part of their schedule is honestly them playing their division.
I have them 4-2 in their division.
Okay.
I think a lot of their hard games in their they play a lot of home games, and I don't think they lose a game at home probably in their division. Maybe 1.
All right, I can see
Okay.
it. The Steers, you ready?
Okay, yeah. So I'm sorry I did this 3 times, and I removed record from this completely. So I can give you the teams that I have making the playoffs, but if I give you record, like
if I would have gave you my teams, it would have looked a lot better. But I got 5 teams at 13-4. So
when I did
believe
record, I had like
13-4.
9 teams making the playoffs in the AFC because I didn't know like who would make it by difficulty of schedule or
yeah, that's how I found this website where you can literally pick every. But then by the time I got to the end, I was like, wait, this makes no sense. I have a bunch of teams. Like at one point, I had to go back. I had the Bills undefeated, so I had to go back and give them some losses.
Yeah, so the teams that I had in the playoff, we'll do it like this. I had Buffalo as the number 1 seed, Chargers as the number 2 seed, Bengals as the number 3, and the Colts as number 4. But then I had the Browns, Raiders, and Broncos getting the last 3 playoff spots. So that means I did not have the Titans or Kansas City making the playoffs.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm most shocked by the Bengals. What do you see from that team that makes them being that good?
Well, the thing about it is the Browns, I highly doubt the Browns will get the number 1 seed in that division because it's a fairly newer squad. So, like, they're going to be testing a lot of stuff out, come early this season and trying to get on a run late in the season. Baltimore, I think Baltimore is going to be banged up again this year. Like, with the exception of Lamar Jackson, like, even if he stays healthy, I think that they're going to have some health issues because they have been mostly this past season, they had a lot of, sporadic injuries or whatever, but they have been mostly healthy and made some like very dominant playoff runs. So I have them having issues. And then obviously I don't have Pittsburgh making the playoffs. So I've got them at number 3 because they won their division and they're probably going to have a better record than the Colts.
Fair enough.
Okay. What about the NFC?
So NFC, I got Rams at 1, Bucks at 2, Cowboys at 3, Green Bay at 4, with the Vikings, 49ers, and Eagles taking those last 3 spots.
Okay. So what made
And
you?
it was really difficult for me not to put the Cowboys at 2 because their schedule is just extremely easy.
Again, when I went through it, I had the Cowboys I think they were 14-2 at one point, so I had to go back through and give them a few losses. But their schedule is really easy.
Thanks.
Okay. Well, for me, I got in the AFC, I got the Bills at 14-3. I got the Browns at 13-4. I got the Chargers at 11-6. I got the Colts at 10-7. I got the Ravens with the first wild card spot at 11-6. Then I got my team, the Dolphins, at 11-6. And then I got the Chiefs at 10-7. So
I definitely had the Dolphins written down, but I also had, like I said, Kansas City, Pats, Titans, Dolphins, and it's going to be a dogfight in the AFC.
it is.
I have the Dolphins as my 8 seed. So
And then, so for the NFC, I got the Rams at 13-4. I got the Cowboys at 12-5. Then I got the Buccaneers 11-6. Then I got the Packers at 11-6. Then I got the same wild cards as Steers. I got the Eagles at 10-7. I got the Niners at 9-8. Then I got the Vikings at 9-8.
I'm only shocked by how many games you have the Bucks losing.
How many did you say for the Bucks?
I said 11-6. And the only reason why I got the Bucks losing that many games is because I simply think Father Time is undefeated. I don't think Brady's going to continuously play at this level he's playing at. He could prove me wrong.
You got to factor at least 7 wins for the division. They might lose one time to maybe the Panthers or the Saints, but I think they sweep the division almost.
I mean, the Saints always seem to have a number at home, so I think they.
Yeah, I have them going 7-1 in the division, losing to the Saints once.
I mean, I think they could. I think they will sweep the Falcons. They may sweep the Panthers. I think they probably would
sweep the Panthers. Who do y'all have as the worst team in the NFL?
The worst team in the NFL, we got 10 minutes left, so we could rejoin after this. But the worst team in the NFL, to me, in my personal opinion, I think it's going to be the Texans, and I don't think it's going to be close. I just think. What'd you say?
I was going to say something, but then I was going to say something, but I looked at my records, and I have 2 teams at 1-16, so.
Who the 2 teams?
The Jets and Texans?
No, he said Jets win 4.
Texans and the Bears. The Bears team is going to be horrible. They have no offense. Literally, name one player on the offense that's good other than Justin Fields.
I won't even try.
I mean, I like Mooney though. I think he's
He's the number 1 wide receiver.
I think he's pretty solid. I don't think he's a 1, but I think he's solid.
Tavares, can you tell me who the number 2 wide receiver is? Because I can't.
They don't have one. That's the issue. I don't think actually. You said what?
I'm hang on. Now I need to know. What is their depth chart?
See, I like Mooney. I like Darnell Mooney though. I don't think he's a 1.
I like him.
I just think he's good.
Who is their wide receivers?
But so before the y'all would have just ended here, then we get into why we got the records for each team individually.
Yeah. Let's do that.
All right, cool. Because I got a lot of explaining to do for mine.
I mean, so do I. I have 5 teams at 13-4.
Yeah,
so.
You definitely got some explaining. But all right. Appreciate y'all for still tuning in if y'all still there. Nits.
Wow, their wide receiver core is really bad. Their number 2 wide receiver is Brian Pringle.
Okay, I remember them signing him. I remember that. Matter of fact,
They have Mooney, Pringle, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then Chris Flinky. Never heard of him.
Stiz, you there?
They also better hope that Justin Fields never gets hurt because their backup is Nathan Peterman and Trevor Siemian.
Nathan Peterman and Trevor Siemian. I don't know what happened to him.
I mean, he was good for like the first year that Denver drafted him, and then after that, it kind of went downhill.
Yeah, Nathan
He
Peterman.
joined and then he left.
Nathan Peterman is actually terrible though.
I mean, I think wasn't his like first career game that game that he threw like 6 interceptions.
Yep, definitely was.
There's no coming back from that. Once you start the career throwing 6 interceptions, I'm really looking at my divisions and realizing how terrible they are.
But
I really should have made better.
Let's go ahead and start with Alex first, since he had the most shocking one. Go ahead, Alex.
I mean, like, what do you want to even know? Because, like, do you want me to go week by week? Because, like, that's going to take.
Just go based on like why you got your 1 seed, the 1 seed, why you got those teams making a wild card, things like that.
Okay, here we go. I got Buffalo. Wait, everybody's here? Okay, yeah. I got Buffalo at 15-2. I think they win every game in their division. I think they are on a war path to the Super Bowl, and I don't really see anybody really stopping them. The division that really makes no sense is the AFC. I believe this is the West, because I have 3 teams at 13-4, which I'm not really sure how that happened. And if it makes you feel better, I have the Broncos at 10-7, so it's not even like I have them doing terribly.
I honestly think that'll be the first as why the Raiders are winning 13 games though. Like, can you explain?
I think they're really good.
How so?
They have 2 really good pass rushers. They now have a wide receiver 1. The only thing their offense is really lacking is a running back, because Josh Jacobs gets injured every 5 minutes. But like they got a better coach than John Gruden, so I don't really see any downside to the team other than their division. Like, if they were in the North, they would win the division. If they were in the South, they would easily win the division. I think it's just the division that they're in is so difficult. Like, I have them going 3-3 in the division.
Okay. So for one, my bad, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Ask whatever you want to go and ask.
For one, I got to disagree with the coaching hire. I think Josh McDaniels is terrible.
You think he's worse than John Gruden?
I don't know if he's worse, but I don't think he's an upgrade either. I think Josh McDaniels is what everyone fears from the patriarch hierarchy and just hiring off of that tree. He comes in.
I mean, at what point are we going to admit that they're not that good anymore? Like Bill Belichick.
No.
At what point are we retiring?
That's not the issue. The issue isn't the Patriots itself. The issue is that it never seems to work out with any Patriot assistant who becomes head coaches. I mean, you could look at it from.
I agree, but pretty good last year with the worst case scenario surrounding a team. I mean, you had a player kill somebody. You had your head coach as a racist and got fired. Like, it can only go up, I think.
Right. I agree with that, but the problem for me is, man, they division just got so much better, man. Like, it's going to be.
But they got better too. They
them.
added the best wide receiver in football. They have a really great pass rush. They had a pretty good draft. They really just need a running back.
I don't know, man. I can't believe in their secondary or their offensive line, man. They secondary is horrible.
That's a good point. That is a very good point. Their secondary is terrible, but I think they're better than the Broncos.
Yeah, that's debatable.
I think it's. I mean, again, I have one at 13-4. I have one at 10-7.
No,
so like
I think that division is going to be tight to week 18. So I'm not denying that, but I don't know, man. I I got to see Josh McDaniels coach again, man. Because last time he was a coach, it ain't exactly go as according to plan. I got to see it.
That's a good point.
I got to see it.
In the North, I just think the Ravens are the better team. I think they have the best coach in the division, surrounded by the best team. I think Tomlin's the best coach, but Harbaugh has the best team around him. And I just think if they're all healthy, they're going to be really good.
Right.
I have the Browns at 12-5, and that's only pending that Deshaun Watson is playing. If he's not playing, they're going to be terrible. And then I think the Bengals take a huge step back. I have them at 6-11, which is probably not where they should be. They should probably be more like 8-9. But I just don't see it. I feel like they got incredibly lucky last year when it comes to injuries and close games. I don't think it happens 2 years in a row. I think they will have a down season this year and then be back in contention for a playoff spot next season. But I just don't see it happening. And I think the Colts just absolutely run away with their division. I think that there's no competition really in that division. I have them going 13-4 and 5-1 in the division.
Okay.
I mean, I have the Titans going 5-12, and I have them winning every single game in the division. I think they're going to be really bad, Stiggs.
Wait. You have them going 5-12,
and they're 5-1 in the division.
That's absurd.
Well, I think they beat the Texans twice, and I think they beat the Jaguars twice, and I think they can maybe get the Colts once.
So you don't think they beat any team outside of their division?
Again, guys, I said this wasn't perfect. If I'm looking at it realistically, they probably win 2 more games. I would have them at 7-10.
No, I was just curious, man.
Okay, so yeah, I gotta have them a lot closer to 500. Only if you can run the ball and play efficient football, you can.
Yeah, but if Derrick Henry gets hurt, which, I mean, history shows he's probably gonna get hurt. So
for how long? For how long?
Well, that's the problem. If he gets hurt at all, every game is a loss.
Okay, so did you say the same thing last season?
Well, no, but last season they had a quarterback.
Leo Jones.
Yeah, they had wide receivers.
That makes sense.
They don't have I can say the same thing that I said about the Bears to the Titans. Who's their second wide receiver behind?
I agree.
Yeah. So and plus, is Ryan Tannehill there? The kid's having mental issues. Is he going to be ready to play quarterback, or is Malik Willis sitting behind him?
Let me ask you this. Can Ryan Tannehill play any worse than what he has in when he made the playoffs the last 3 or 4 years?
He shouldn't, because he won't be starting if he does.
But that's what I'm saying. So my concern is never until the playoffs. My concern is never Ryan Tannehill.
But here's the thing: if the Titans start off 1-4, at what point are we putting Malik Willis in?
Why are they 1-4?
I get it.
I don't think they're good.
No, I'm saying if they start off 1-4, but he's having.
They're 1-4 because Ryan Tannehill's played terribly.
All right.
Oh, well then for sure.
They're either 1-4 because Ryan Tannehill played terribly, or something terrible happened to Derrick Henry week 1.
Or both.
All right.
Or both. If both happen, then everybody gets Malik Willis in week 2.
All right. So what about your NFC?
So hang on. Let's start. The Buccaneers 6-0 in their division, 15-2. I think they're just going to dominate. The rest of the division, I have the Panthers at 9-8, Saints at 8-9, and then the Falcons at 13-14 or 3-14 because I think they're going to be awful.
All right. What about your wild card spots?
Oh yeah. I got the wild card. The Cowboys, I have them at 12-5. I have the Eagles at 13-4. I think it's going to be a race for the winner of that division. Whoever does it, the next team will get the next wild card spot.
Have them splitting games?
I do. That's the one loss I have for both teams in the division. I have both of them going 5-1 in the division. And then I think the Vikings are going to be so good on offense that they're going to find a way into the playoffs. I don't think their defense is good. I don't think they have any good corners, and they don't really have a great pass rush. But I think they're just going to be able to put up enough points if everybody stays healthy that they're going to go 10-7 and make the wild card. I have the Lions at 9-8 right behind them. And the only reason I have the Packers at 12-5, you can make that face all you want about the Lions. They're going to be better, especially in this terrible NFC. You guys, I mean, come on, they're going to be better.
I don't think the Lions are going to be terrible. I really don't.
I think the Lions.
I think they'll be competitive.
You're going to hate that I say this. I think the Lions are right there with the Dolphins.
Okay, now you ODing. Okay, now you.
Will they be better for sure?
Guys, let's go through it. Offensive line, Lions. Quarterback, debatable, Lions.
No.
Running back, Lions.
Hell no.
Wide receivers, Dolphins. So that's offense.
Secondary, linebacking, core.
Listen, I didn't get to defense. Yet.
Okay.
Defensive line, honestly, either one. Secondary, Dolphins. Linebackers. Does Miami have good linebackers?
Our linebackers better than the Lions linebackers.
Debatable.
No, that's not debatable. That's not. It's not.
Secondary.
I think Jerome Baker's better than any linebacker.
And then coaching, debatable.
No, that's not debatable.
Come on, son. We haven't even seen.
No, I gotta get that. I'm giving that to the Lions. That's not debatable.
Okay. I was about to fight for my guy Dan Campbell. I was like, we haven't even seen your guy coach.
Nah, I get that to the Lions.
All right, and then the Cardinals, I have them at 10-7, making the last wild card spot. I think they finished one game above San Francisco because I think San Francisco is going to start Trey Lance, and we don't know if he's good or bad. So that will depend on how good Trey Lance is. And I have the Seahawks at 2-15, going 0-6 in their division, probably firing everybody because they're going to be awful.
Okay.
And they're going to also trade DK Metcalf by the trade deadline.
I absolutely
or
agree
Tyler
with that.
Lockett.
I absolutely agree with that. I think DK Metcalf. I think he's going before the season starts. If I'm being honest with you. But go ahead, Steve.
Also think there's a really good chance that Daniel Jones gets replaced at some point this season for whoever they're back, Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod Taylor.
And I also, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, if that happens, that means they've completely given up on Daniel Jones, if that's the case. So.
Well, why haven't they?
How
many years are we going to
have.
give Daniel Jones to be mediocre?
I agree. That's a story in itself because I'm disappointed with them in the Saquon situation. Okay, I'm gonna start NFC. Again, I do not have records, but I'll go for reasoning why I've got the teams placed where they are. Rams, I think, is an obvious situation. They're still riding high on top. They still have the best roster.
You don't think they're going to get a little complacent because they did win a championship?
Worst case scenario, they do. I still have them over the Bucks. And like I say, the only reason why I put the Cowboys at 3 is because of inconsistency.
I mean, granted, I have them as 2 in my division. So, I'm just saying, I think the Bucks just have a little bit more than them.
So we'll do this. Bucks, Rams, Cowboys. Cowboys only in that debate because of the easy schedule. And somebody has to win that division. So those are going to be my 1, 2, and 3. But if the Rams fall to 2 or 3, it'll be a game, maybe half a game if they played each other type deal. So those are 1, 2, and 3. If the Cowboys don't win the division, obviously I'd have Philly there, and they could easily be 1, 2, or 3 if they take the Cowboys for the division. Green Bay at 4 because it's still Green Bay and it's still the same division they've been playing in for a while. And then, of course, 49ers and Vikings. I feel the same way you do about the Vikings. As long as they have that offense, I feel like – and they're every other year playoff team anyway. So as long as they have that offense, I think that they can squeak into the playoffs. And I had them overtaking the Cardinals as far as, like doing just enough to get in. I think the Cardinals situation is a disaster waiting to happen. I think they should have got rid of either Cliff Kingsbury or Kyler Murray and started fresh with the offensive situation that they tried to piece together. And then, of course, like you say, the Eagles, somebody from the NFC East, whether it be Cowboys or Eagles, is going to be in the wild card. With the AFC, just what you said earlier, Buffalo and Chargers, I feel like are the 2 best teams as far as overall. They're the 2 best teams in football. So Buffalo is going to pick apart that damn division. The Pats may get 1 game, but outside of that, I don't think it's going to be debatable unless they sit players into the season because they've already locked up the number 1 seed. That AFC West division is tragic. I got the Chargers at number 2 because they fought extremely hard to try to get into the playoffs last season with the Raiders, and they upgraded at almost every position possible. So As far as a talent standpoint, they have the best roster in the league. They also have a top 10, which I believe is probably going to end up being a top 5 quarterback. The Bengals, I mean, I don't see them not winning this division unless Baltimore stays healthy and just goes on a tangent. The Colts, obviously number 4, they're going to win their division. If they don't, it's because Matt Ryan got injured. Even then, I don't even know who is their backup.
Nick Foles.
Oh well. So even if Matt Ryan gets injured, with him and what's the coach name? They got him to the Super Bowl over there as the offensive coordinator, Frank Reich. Him and Frank Reich, I think, will do enough to win that division. And then we left with the Browns, Raiders, and Broncos. 3 teams are going to the playoffs for the AFC West. For Kansas City, I don't think that they did enough. And again, similar to with them with Baltimore, one of y'all going to have like the slew of injuries come through. I think that's going to be this season. You didn't do anything to, really vamp up your defense. You didn't do anything to, have a luscious run game. Like they're just going to rely on Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and whatever number 1 receiver they have again. And of course, like I say, Buffalo, Pats, Dolphins, I have them with the opportunity of making it, but I think it's just going to be too close. Every single game is going to matter this season in the AFC.
Right, I agree with that completely. It definitely is going to be cut close, and I think every team will have to play through Week 18 unless you like the Bills, who I also have winning the AFC. And the reason why I got the Bills on the AFC is all the reasons you all said. They just honestly are, in my personal opinion, they are just by far and large the best team in the NFL, especially on paper. Now, I'm not guaranteeing they're going to go to the Super Bowl and things like that because I simply don't know. Josh Allen has always been one of my issues with him is that I don't know what the hell he is from week in and week out. One week he looks like the best quarterback in football, and the next week it's like, why the hell was this guy ever in my top 5? I just do not know what he is on Sunday each and every week. I'm not saying he doesn't make good plays every game because he does, but there's plays in games, possessions in games where he just makes absolutely critical mistakes. And maybe it would change with time because he still is young. But as it stands right now, he's still a wild card in my personal opinion. He's just uber talented. And the reason why I got the Browns finishing over the Chargers, simply put, you can argue who's the more talented team between the two because I personally think the Browns have the better quarterback. I think they had a better running game. I think the offensive line is just as good, if not better. And I believe in Kevin Stefanski way more than I believe in Brandon Staley or Anthony Staley. I think his name is Brandon Stanley. But I don't believe in the Chargers coach. I just don't. I think his in-game decisions are terrible. I think he's a guy that plays off of what ifs instead of what is. And I think Justin Herbert is going to kind of like shell over a lot of his mistakes and hiccups as a coach because he's that good of a quarterback. But at the end of the day, this is something you won't be able to hide forever. He's not a good head coach. I don't think he's good. He may prove me wrong this year, but we'll see about that. Then I got the Colts finishing 10-7. I just think they're the best team in their division, and I just think it's that simple for me. I got the Ravens going 11-6. And the reason why I got the Ravens going 11-6 is that I think they're going to compete with every team they play against. Lamar Jackson, for my money, is a top 5 quarterback in this league. I know you both feel differently. That's fine. But at the end of the day, this is a guy that simply gets the job done. I don't care how the hell he gets it done. He gets it done. Then after that, I got the Dolphins at 11-6 as well. I believe I've said this last episode, and I said it again. This is Tua's chance to prove he is the guy. I think he has a career year this season. If he does not, there will be changes. It's just that simple. This roster is too talented to not have a career season. And then the Chiefs, I got them finished at 10-7. Now, the reason it was kind of close for me for them and the Broncos. The reason why I believe they finished over the Broncos, though, is because Russell Wilson has this kind of an act or this knack to play bad the last couple weeks in the seasons, and I do not know why, because he's such a good quarterback. But that's one of the reasons why he never has received the MVP vote in his career, because he does not finish season strong. I don't know what it is, he just doesn't. And when I looked at their schedule, and I looked at their last, I believe, 6 games, they got some tough outs, man. They got the Ravens, they got the Chiefs, they got the Cardinals, Rams, Chiefs again, and the Chargers. Those are 6 games that they could lose every single game the last 6 weeks. So we're gonna see. But on the NFC side, I got the Rams finished at 13-4. I just think they're still the best team in the NFC. I think signing Allen Robinson and Bobby Wagner, despite the fact that they lost Whitworth and they lost Darius Williams and Von Miller, I think they just got – I don't think they got better per se, but I think they maintain what they are. Then after that, I got the Cowboys at 12-5 because not only because of their division, but because I'm not that high on the Buccaneers as you both are, because I think Tom Brady is going to take a step back. I just don't see him continuously playing at this level he has played at the last couple of years. Now, again, I could be wrong, but I just don't see it. I got the Packers at 11-6 just because it's the Packers, it's that division, they're going to win the division. That's how it's been the last 100 years. Then after that, I got the Eagles at 10-7, and I could very well see the Eagles winning this division. It's just that somebody got to win it, somebody got to lose it. It just comes down to that. And then I got the Niners and the Vikings both finishing 9-8. And the reason why I think the Niners could sneak in is because I think Trey Lance has a lot more talent than what Jimmy Garoppolo has. And I think he's going to win and lose games because of that. But come about week 14, I think he'll have it figured out. And the Vikings, just like you both said, I think they're just too talented of an offensive squad to not make the playoffs this season, especially with DeAndre Hopkins missing, I believe, 10 games, 8 games this next coming season. So I don't see the Cardinals being able to overcome that. And yeah, man, I just
let me ask you this. Okay, so I'm gonna go back. The Chargers coach.
Yeah.
Could he be a Mike McCarthy?
Could he be Mike McCarthy?
I mean, Mike McCarthy was saved by 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah, he can be a Mike. It's funny they both defensive coaches too, but he can be a Mike McCarthy. The thing, and my issue is, and the reason why I don't think he can be that is because he doesn't have a running attack that like Mike McCarthy has had throughout his career. Because people forget, he played with Brett Favre and things of that nature. They had a pretty solid running back core in Green Bay the years he was with Brett Favre, and even Aaron Rodgers. Like when they had guys, they had Eddie Lacy at one point who was a Pro Bowl. I know he gained a lot of weight, but at one point Eddie Lacy was a top 8, top 6 running back. But they also had guys like, what was James? I think James Starks was his name, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Starks, Ryan Grant, Ahmad Green.
I would argue that Austin Eckler's on the edge of top 10.
Now, he is, but the issue with Austin Eckler, he is a strictly Darren Sproles kind of guy. He cannot run between the tackles, man. I'm not denying his toughness because I love Austin Eckler.
I know, that's why they drafted that guy. I can't remember his name. Who did they draft?
But
he's good.
I just don't know if they can have that for Stanley to support. Now, if they can, then maybe he can be what Mike McCarthy is. But as of right now, they living and dying by Justin Herbert.
And I didn't mean to say that like I was praising Mike McCarthy. I
get what you meant.
Because you were saying because he's like you're saying basically like the quarterback Justin Herbert will pretty much gloss over some of the blemishes from the coaches there. Okay, you said Russell Wilson playing bad in the back half of seasons. I think the reason why he's never received the MVP vote is because, for the most part, he was carried by run game and defense. When I say carried, like it was easier for him early in the season as teams started to get them figured out, or they had injuries. You know what I'm saying? They struggled a little more, but I'm not saying that they're going to be a top 3 defense again, but they had the number 3 defense last year. So if they improve their run game, I don't see him having many issues.
Right. They definitely have a top 5 running back room with Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon. So I'm not denying that. But their division, like the same reason I said for the Raiders, their division is just too damn tough, man. They can't afford for him to go out there and not play like the top 5 quarterback he is. He has to be good every game. And like I read out the schedule, man, if he plays under what he is, they can easily lose all 6 of those games they finished in the season.
After you called out those 6 games, I got them 3-3. But in all honesty, the playoffs for the AFC West is going to come down to week 18 because you have to play, the one team from your division in the last week. So the playoffs for at least two of those teams is going to come down to that last game.
I mean, realistically, all 4 teams could make the playoffs.
I've seen it on a couple websites where they had all 4 teams making the playoffs. I don't think so. The AFC is too tight.
I don't know,
so
man.
You're going to have to, if for all 4 teams to make it, they would have to split those games amongst each other as close to 500 as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I gotta see it from. I'm just not that high on the Raiders, man. I'm just not. I like Derek Carr, man. I think he's very underrated, but I don't believe in Josh McDaniels at all, man. I just don't.
I feel the same way about the Bengals, Titans, and Dolphins that you feel about the Raiders. So,
okay, real quick. The last thing you said was one of the last things I wrote down was the Tom Brady. You know, even if he diminishes, I mean, it's not like he was throwing 60, 70-yard passes every other play anyway. So I think he was just a product of a. Let me stop. Tom Brady is a great quarterback. He's the greatest quarterback of all time, whether it be accolades or statistics. But I think that, again, there was something that was put together, bro, that just, on paper, they were the best team ever assembled the year that they won the Super Bowl. Again, on paper. But you just can't – I don't see too many quarterbacks not making the playoffs with what he had that first year. So if you take his know-how and his knowledge and add that to what he's about to play with, I don't see him falling off a cliff or anything dramatic happening to his numbers. Yeah, I don't think he's going to lead the league in touchdowns and passing yards again.
I don't believe Tom Brady is going to play to the point where he's absolutely horrible. I just don't think he's going to be the top 5 quarterback that we came used to seeing or prone to seeing. I think he's going to work out his way into the top 8, top 7 category, which is still a really good quarterback. I just don't know what Todd Bowles is either. I know Todd Bowles.
You're right. You're actually right, because for them to be like a number 2 seed, I don't think he can put up the stats he was once putting up. I think the team has to contribute more. So when I say that he will fall off or he won't look as good, it'll be because he didn't have to. It'll be because the team stepped up. Because let's be real, they're not making a playoff run, and Tom Brady is their best player. It's not gonna happen.
Right, I agree with that. I gotta see it from Todd Bowles as well, man. He, just like I said about Josh McDaniels, he hasn't had exactly the most keen coaching abilities or like record as well as a head coach. I'm not doubting that he could get the job done, because he has had good defenses under his belt, and with a Tom Brady at your quarterback with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, your offense is gonna be fine regardless of however it may work out. But I got to see it all put together though for me to pick them to win a Super Bowl or be the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Yeah, my only question was, you're really high on Trey Lance.
Yeah, because
what makes you that high on Trey Lance?
I believe Trey Lance has all the talent in the world to be a top 12 quarterback. I'm not doubting that at all.
From what? From what have you seen that has told you that?
Well, for starters, for me, I believe back in college when you watched him, I think he played as if he was the best athlete on any given Saturday. And I think that could also be the case in the NFL. I don't think he's going to be otherworldly. I don't think he'll be Lamar Jackson. I don't think he'll be Patrick Mahomes, any of these guys who are just super talented and just seeing to take over games. But I think he's good enough to help the Niners with that defense and with Kyle Shanahan.
But you said he'd be a better option than Jimmy G.
Absolutely.
Well, wait, to clarify, he said that he'd be a better option than Jimmy G, but he also said that he believes off of his abilities he was going to win and lose certain games that Jimmy G
I agree. Listen, I think Trey Lance is either going to be top 5 quarterback in 5 years or playing tight end. Those are the options. No, I'm not even kidding. He's big enough to play tight end, so he probably would switch to tight end, kind of like that Virginia Tech quarterback did like 10 years ago. But no, seriously, he barely played in college. I think he played 1 full season, and then COVID ruined his next season.
Right.
And yes, he was very good, but he was also not playing D1 college football.
Right.
So
But
I just think there's a lot to prove, but
Yeah.
clearly the 49ers see something in him because they're willing to move on from Jimmy G. All the rumors are that he will be traded at some point.
right.
So I just don't know what people see, but maybe I'm wrong.
The thing about it is though,
Yeah.
he's exactly what Josh Allen was when he came out of school. He was this raw, talented player who just had all the ability, just never put it together. And I believe in Kyle Shanahan to be what Sean McDermott has been for Josh Allen for Trey Lance. I 100,000% believe in that, especially if they can keep Deebo Samuel, who I think about a month ago I thought it was a done deal that he would be traded. I'm not too sure about that now, but I still think it is a strong possibility he can be. But if they can keep,
they have a lot of problems going on now. Now George Kittle wants more money, and they have some issues.
yeah, they definitely got issues. But in terms of, let's hypothetically speaking, if the team was to just stay intact the way it is, you giving Trey Lance arguably a top 5 unit on the defensive side. They have the talent to be that. You're giving him one of the better offensive lines in the league. I'm not saying it's spectacular over there, but it ain't the worst either. Then you're giving him a good running back committee, along with Kyle Shanahan, who's a top 8, top 5. There isn't a lot that could go wrong for him in terms of development. I'm not saying he's not going to play bad games. He is. That's what happens with young players.
I agree. I just wanted to know what you've seen because I haven't seen it. But, I mean, he's built to be like a superstar quarterback. I mean, he's built like Josh Allen, like Cam Newton. He's huge. He can run fast. He has an arm. Like, everything adds up. He just hasn't played a lot of football. So if he can put it all together, I mean, he's going to be unstoppable.
Yeah, he simply is too talented and in a too good of a situation to not put it together. The only way he doesn't is if he's just that bad, and I don't think he is. And
I don't think he is either because the 49ers are willing to trade away a good quarterback in Jimmy G to let this guy start. So they clearly buy into him at least a little bit.
Yeah, but it's not even just about Jimmy G, though. It's just the fact that they know Jimmy G can never be what he is in terms of the talent and the ceiling he has. Jimmy G could go out there and be Alex Smith or Tyler Heineke all he wants to be. He could be the game manager who plays 3-4 good games a year. He can be that. But that's not the goal. That's never been a goal for Kyle Shanahan and his offense. He wants the best at his position, at the most important position. He prides himself on that. He's made that known multiple times. He is betting on Trey Lance to be everything he has seen Josh Allen or Cam Newton.
I mean, he's betting his career on Trey Lance.
Yeah, and I think it's a good bet. I mean, I don't know at the end of the day, but I think it's a good bet. I would much rather bet on him than Jimmy Garoppolo.
It's only tough because Jimmy G is basically taking you to 2 Super Bowls, and you're saying you're not good enough. This is the guy. So he better be the guy. Because if Jimmy G goes somewhere like, I don't even know what team to, for instance, the Panthers, and played good and got the Panthers to the playoffs, it's not going to look too good on Kyle Shanahan.
Well, we'll see. I'm not that high on Jimmy Garoppolo, but we'll see.
Listen, again, I'm a Panthers fan. My options are Sam Darnold and Matt Corral right now. So let me have a little something. Okay?
I understand, man. Trust me. I've been a Dolphins fan my entire life.
True. I mean, I have us at 9-8, and that's with Matt Corral playing. So we'll see.
Right. So, anything else you want to add, Stitch?
Like I said, I think for the most part, there were, in the AFC, like we had some differences, but for the most part, the NFC it's almost deadlocked.
Yeah, I feel like basically anybody from 10 up, we all have the exact same teams.
Yes. I guess the only thing, like maybe next week we get into, seeding and who wins and who we have winning the Super Bowl, before the season starts or everything. But like you say, I don't. The AFC West is the only thing that's kind of throwing everybody off in the AFC. But outside of that, it should be fairly consistent.
I think the only team in the NFC that's going to piss some people off is that none of us have the Saints making it.
I agree. And
I honestly I don't see it for them.
Yeah, I agree.
I could see it if Jameis Winston becomes something, but I'm just not I've never believed in Jameis Winston, even when he was coming out of college.
Have y'all also heard the rumors that Mike Thomas is still injured?
No,
See,
I haven't.
but in all honesty, to me, their biggest question mark is the coaching staff. I know what Jameis Winston is going to give you, and even if Mike
That's another reason
Thomas
I don't
is
believe
healthy,
him.
I don't think that. I
Yeah.
mean, he was a
Also,
guy that had to be thrown open. He wasn't a guy
Apparently,
that.
apparently Dennis Allen is changing the entire offense.
Dennis
Like
Allen.
they're basically throwing out all of Sean Payton's stuff, and they're going into a whole new like regular run pass offense that like a normal team would run, and all the trick stuff is being thrown out.
That's-
which
Nobody can say whether or not that's going to be good or bad for that offense.
That's
yeah, no,
That's one of the
they're
biggest.
they're one of the
reasons why I don't
biggest
believe
mysteries in the whole NFL because they have a good defense. It's just like, what's that offense going to look like?
But
That's one of the biggest reasons why I don't believe. I think Dennis Allen is an absolutely terrible head coach. But I said a
Me
lot
too.
about Josh
I agree.
McDaniels, but I think he is horrible.
I agree. I think it was a horrible decision to just promote him instead of hiring somebody else.
Yeah, yes, I don't believe in that guy at all. He's the biggest reason why I don't believe in the Saints. But
Yeah. All right.
yeah, that's it for today, guys. Though we got through everything we wanted to get through. So thank everyone for tuning in once again on the show. I'll see y'all in the next one, guys. Y'all be safe.
Yep. I'll see y'all later.
What was his name?
Bye.